Sitting out here, seeing the weather change, really gets me thinking. Gets me thinking a lot about being consistent. Gets me thinking a lot about doing something that you have to do regardless of what's going on. Gets me thinking a lot about making sure that you do it even if you're hurting, even if you're destroyed, even if you're happy, even if you're sad, no matter what, getting stuff done. My name is Mark Anthony DuBose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. And something about this weather that just keeps on changing and keeps on doing what it's doing really gets me thinking. It puts a whole lot of thought in me because it just lets me know that it doesn't matter what's going on, that stuff still has to keep on making happen what it needs to make happen. Animals still need to keep on living and keep on breathing, keep on finding food and storing food and doing what they got to do regardless of what's going on, that they just have to adapt to it and just make it work and just make it happen. That they don't ever get a time of just, I'm too tired, I'm too lazy, I'm too depressed, I'm too stressed. They just get it done. And if they are stressed, they work even harder to just focus on making sure that they follow through even more, knowing that they might need to over-prepare so that things are going to be good to go so they don't have to worry so much about the future to come. And it's something that I just noticed that quite actually a bit of animals do out here. That just sitting here realizing that it's about to rain and majority of everything out here understands the weather that happens with that. That I'm just sitting watching these chickens and seeing for the first time, first day today, of just having a good understanding of noticing that they are preparing for this rain on doing a whole new extra behavior, on knowing that they need to store some extra food inside of them to be able to make it through it. That every single one is out in the field just running, doing what they're doing, having some fun, pecking and chewing and eating and going and cruising and making stuff happen. That they're not stressed knowing that some stressful things are going to come. They are putting extra ahead to make sure when those stressful times come that things are going to be good to go. And I wonder why it is that I just noticed this with us as human beings, that sometimes we run into situations where we just don't want to function. We just don't want to get some stuff done. That we know we have to do it and we just don't do it. And sometimes we run in a situation that we don't do things that we know are life vital for us to have to do, that we just put it off to the side, and we put it off to the side, and we put it off to the side, and then we actually just do some things that aren't actually going to help us out and is just going to sabotage us. That we focus on that as opposed to focusing on the stuff that's actually going to help you get out of a, say, bad situation, a stressful situation. You put that away and you work on the stuff that is going to give you, say, like some very short-term level of success, some short-term gain, some short-term just I'm feeling good and everything's all good, is all right. That you put your major stuff on the backside, way in the back, and you don't focus on it, you don't take care of it. To focus on the right here, right nows. And sometimes putting your major life on hold to do right here, right now is very, very dangerous, because you're not going to be able to have another chance to be able to get something done. That's something that I just noticed on the whole understanding of consistency. And watching and noticing that everything out here is very consistent with what it does. And that's how I know what's going to happen from it tomorrow. That if it's doing this today, this is going to come tomorrow from it. If it's doing that today, then I know exactly where they're headed to. If I see an animal that's in the back in the corner, this happens every time. I notice it every single time because I study this and I pay attention to this and I see this every single time. If I have an animal that's in the back corner of the shelter that's just not getting up, not trying to get extra food, not trying to get extra water, not trying to figure out how to find a safer, cleaner, better, more relaxed home, they don't make it. They just don't make it because they're focused on right here, like this second I'm good to go, and this isn't, and I don't need to worry about doing anything. They just don't make it, and they never survive, and they never get a chance to be able to move forward. But for the ones that are out there doing their extra, they always make it. Every single time. They just do, because they're doing what it takes, knowing that they have some stuff that they need to work on, that they have no choice but to do, and they have to focus on doing that to be able to make it to the next time, to be able to make it to the next day. And sometimes we look at our lives in a way of, I'm good to go. It's something even that I said that it makes sense, but it's something that needs to be spoken more upon. I'm good to go today, so I'm good. I can just relax. I'm calm. Everything's fine. But there's a way of saying you're good to go today, and knowing that you're good to go today because you are setting yourself up today to be able to have something great and be able to do something great tomorrow, as opposed to just saying I'm good enough today and not really lining things up in your back future, in your future and your current, to be able to make sure that things are going to be okay tomorrow. That if you know what you're doing today is going to put you in an absolute destructive path, you can't be comfortable today. You got to be doing things today knowing that you're setting it up to be good for tomorrow. And that's something that I think a lot of us run into situations when we start to pray and ask and have faith at the same time, and saying that, oh, he's got me, everything's good. It's like you can't just sit down and do nothing and expect something to come from that. That's not how anything on this planet works. You got to make sure that you're doing something. You're putting in action with something. You're focused in on something. You're dialing something in. You're being very consistent with something, knowing that that consistency is going to be able to bleed to the next day and the next day and the next day without you having to say put so much effort into it, because you're constantly doing the same stuff and working on the same stuff. Johnny, you can get up. Your ears is all jammed up. And making sure that that's happening, that you're not just sitting down, sitting on the couch, just sitting back saying tomorrow's going to be a good day, tomorrow's going to be a better day. It's never going to be a good day. It's never going to be a better day if you're not working on today to be a good day and today to be a better day. Knowing that the things that you do today are going to be able to transfer and push off to your remaining future. Because something that I just noticed with everything out here, because even like right now, the birds of the air, the birds of the sky, they do what they have to do, knowing that something's coming, that they have to change, and they have to work and focus on it today, to knowing that tomorrow is going to be a challenge for them. And that's something that we as humans should always be working on and always be focusing on and always be trying to get ourselves in a better case with, knowing that there's going to be some challenging times tomorrow, and today we need to start putting things together to make sure that when those challenging times come, that we're good to go. Because sometimes, and a lot of times, in most cases, all times, we run into situations where we say, like for instance, a question that you can ask yourself, if I had a chance to do it again, if I had a chance to do this another try, would I do it the same way or would I do it a different way? And then we would all say to ourselves, oh, I'll do something different. But yet, if you're still doing the same stuff today, just know that the same stuff is going to continue to keep happening to you, that nothing different is going to come to you. Regardless of if you're thinking right here, right this second, like, no, I would change this and I'd change this. It's like, yeah, you may say that, but your actions and what you're doing are the same things. It's the same mess over and over again. So whatever it is that you think that you would change is going to still be the same. It's a matter of making sure that the things that we're doing right now and staying consistent with what it is that we're doing right now is in motion with what it is that we want to do. So when the next day does come, that change will start to happen. The same stuff is going to keep on coming to you. Man, with that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for today, for an absolutely interesting, like, man, today's tiring. Like tonight, I'm about to sleep like an unbelievable, like so good that I don't even know how to explain it. Today has been a very, very interesting day and a very busy day and a very productive day in a way of getting done some stuff that I've not been delaying on, but just getting done some stuff that I needed to do. And most of that, getting that stuff done, is not even a physical thing out here of working, but a mental game of making sure that my thoughts are getting lined up with where it is that I want to continue to keep going in the future. That a lot of times that's what really gets me the most tired, is when I start asking some questions and when I start trying to figure out how to be able to gain and get it and do different things on this planet and not keep on doing and having the same stuff, because I have to change my thinking up. I have to change what it is that my mindset is going to, and to be able to have something different. That if my mind is still asking the same questions, I'm going to get the same stuff tomorrow. But if my mind starts asking some new questions, it's just something that is just so powerful, knowing that something different is going to come from it. And something that I just know, especially with working with dogs, is the more that we work on the mind and trying to get the dog to understand what it is that I want with not physical, but just playing games in a way of trying to get them to process and problem solve things through and thinking things through, the more you just get so tired. And it's the same exact thing with us as humans, that the more we start thinking, and that's where I noticed that a lot of us, we escape into doing other stuff, doing some drugs and doing some alcohol, because the thinking it can get a little too much. It can get a little overwhelming. And that overwhelming is something that we just need to push through and get through and be able to make happen and be able to do, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to move forward. And sometimes when we talk about being consistent with stuff, we're thinking about being consistent with some physical things, like going to a store at a certain time at a certain place and going here and do it. But in reality, being consistent with your mind and what you think and what you say and what you do. And I'm so thankful to be able to know that, and so thankful to be able to keep on doing what it is that I'm doing, to be able to keep that and keep energized with that and keep focused in on that, and knowing that there's a lot of things that I can change, but the only way I'm going to be able to change it is be able to change what my mind is thinking with that. And for me, that's been a way to be able to, like, say, pray more about what it is that I'm doing, to be able to figure out my path and be able to figure out what it is that I'm looking for the next day. That I have to do something now. I can't just not do anything. I can't just not try to come up with a plan of what I want to be able to attack on the next day to be able to get something better. That I have to do stuff right now. Because if I just keep doing the same thing and just, oh, I'll get it later. Oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll get it some other time. Oh, the next day it'll be easier for me, so then I'll be able to get it. I'll never get there, and never get there, because there's never going to be a day at a time and a season and anything that's just everything is good to go. That now I'm going to focus on trying to be able to get myself to be able to be in a better place. And I'm just so thankful to be able to have a good understanding of knowing that that's how this world works. And as much as it may be stressful, as much as it may be hard work in a way, it's something that we just have to do. And that hard work we have to do is making sure that our thinking and our patterns of thinking are on point with making sure that we're thinking about what it is we want to be about. Because whatever you're thinking about is who you are. It's not really even much of what you do, because you do what you think about. And that's the number one way to figure out who somebody is, if they don't do what they say, because they're clearly mismatching what's going on, because they're thinking about what they're actually doing, and they're doing something different. So that means that's where that mass manipulation really starts to happening. But that's talk for a whole nother day, a whole nother time, and a whole nother situation. That's a whole nother season of a talk for me, and I'm not even there yet to even talk about that. But I'm just so thankful to be able to know a whole bunch about all this and all that, to be able to have a good understanding of knowing where it is that I need to go next and how I need to do some things. And also I'm just thankful to be able to use my thinking and put it into dogs, to be able to get them to think, to be able to get them to do, to be able to get them away from reactive, to be able to get them away from anxiousness, to be able to get them away from that, because that's something that I don't think a lot of people have a good understanding of working with them. That for me, it's simple, because instead of having a dog be a dog, I train the dog to be able to think things through and not just react and just go crazy, because it's something that I notice that a lot of human beings do. That human beings don't think things through; they just go do it, just make it happen. And that's something for me that I'm not so much been in that, but been a part of that enough that I know that there's some things that I got to get away from with that. So if I get a message in a certain way and I look at it, that I know I got to think this through before I just make a rash, crazy, drastic decision on what to do on that. And it's something to me that just says we got to control more on what it is we're thinking about, to know that what it is we want tomorrow is going to be something different. Because if we just keep doing the same stuff today, we're going to have the same stuff tomorrow. Thank you.